Welcome to In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price, CEO of Academia.edu, and I got to say, I'm excited to bring you today's episode. We're taking a closer look at a fascinating paper by Menotti Lero about the artists and cultural figures who have contributed to the development of Empathismo, or the Empathism movement. I want to be really clear. I'm presenting the paper as neutrally as possible. My job here is to dig into the research, not to promote, critique, or endorse it. So, what's at the heart of Lero's paper? What's the big idea? The paper asks, essentially, who are the people who helped shape the empathism movement, and why does it matter? Well, empathism, as described here, it's about understanding how a collective of creative and intellectual minds can, together, launch something new, something that maybe shifts the way art and culture get made, talked about, even felt. If you're someone who creates, consumes, or even just admires art, you might find some food for thought here. All right, so how does Lero present this? The paper dives into a pretty full cast of contributors from all sorts of backgrounds, not just one or two main founders, but a team effort. We get detailed mentions of visual artists, musicians, psychologists, literary critics, and, yes, plenty of poets. For instance, there's Antonella Pelliccia, a visual artist who co-signed the Nuovo Manifesto sulle Arti with Menotti Lero himself in 2019. This new manifesto is kind of the movement's launchpad, its big announcement. Another key figure is Omar Galliani, a renowned contemporary drawing master who shaped the iconography of empathism by creating the myth of unus, the so-called total artist. That's a concept meant to unite all disciplines in one. Sort of super ambitious, right? On the musical front, Franco Macida stands out as one of the first to publicly praise the manifesto, and Stefano Pantaleoni even composed the official Empathism anthem. Lino Vaioretti, another musician, went on to curate a pretty noteworthy empathism-themed exhibition. The paper doesn't just stick to the arts, by the way. It also highlights someone like Maria Rita Parsi, a psychotherapist who's worked to spread empathism through national media and literature, collaborating with Lero in publishing efforts, and literary critic Francesco Di Piscopo appears as a key analyst. He's not just writing scholarly articles, but is even going on TV to explain empathism to a wider audience. That's kind of cool, seeing a movement deliberately reach beyond just the elite circles, right? There's a whole array of poets too. Empathism isn't shy about listing names. These include Dacia Maraini, Maurizio Cucci, Elio Pecora, and Dacia Maraini. I think I mentioned her twice, but you know what? That actually gets to a funny point. Sometimes academic lists go on, and by the end you have this sense of, wow, maybe everyone was invited. But okay, let's get back on track. What methods or arguments is the paper using here? Most of the paper is kind of cataloguing a mapping of who contributed and how. It's as if the central thesis is, well, the movement existed, and here are the people who gave it substance. There are also notes on technique, like the empathic correlative, which, if I'm following, is a poetic device pioneered by the earliest empathism poets such as Carlo di Legge, Simone Fagioli, and Gordiano Lupi. They were experimenting, applying new methods of expression designed to foster empathy in their readers and listeners. Why should this matter to you? Well, whether or not you care about empathism specifically, the bigger takeaway, at least to me as I read, is just how culture forms. Not overnight, but through a tangle of people, collaborations, reactions, and sometimes just pure accident. It's easy to romanticize a genius founder, but Lero's account really emphasizes community, art and ideas as a team sport. So if you've ever wondered if your voice can add to something bigger, maybe this is a reminder that movements aren't made by lone wolves, but by, a broad and sometimes messy community. One odd digression. While reading about all those contributors, it occurred to me, imagine if every creative group needed an official anthem. Would that mean every club, even like a neighborhood chess group, would need their own song? I don't know, some things might be better left to the imagination. Anyway, before we wrap up, I got to remind you, academic research is never absolute truth. It's one lens, one way to look at the world. Lero's paper is packed with detail, but your job as a listener is to engage, reflect, and maybe question. Does this fit with your experience? Does it inspire you to look closer at the communities and collaborations in your own life? All right, that's where we'll close today on In Depth with Academia. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, I'm Richard Price, CEO of academia.edu, and I'll be back with more research deep dives soon. Stay curious, stay open, and keep exploring what academia has to offer.